I mean, ain't that one of the maybe fun things and also super irritating things about construction that we get to contend with every possible variation that exists, whether like anything and all of the above can just come in and kick your plan right in the face. What is going on, L&M family? Back again. I know we've been off the air with the interviews. I've been slacking, but we're getting back on track. And I have a super awesome individual that has, I don't know if he just popped up in my world here and within the last, we'll say 3, 6 months, but it's clear that he ain't joking and he's out here to make a difference. He's a project director, been in construction for a long time. He is an old dog. And if you don't know about the old dogs, we're going to learn a little bit about the old dogs. And he, in my book, qualifies as a construction influencer. His name is Mike Chiles. And I want to be clear when I say construction influencer, I'm not talking about somebody that creates content about construction. I'm talking about somebody that is committed to leaving the industry better than they found it and is taking active steps to make that happen. So I'm excited to learn more from him and introduce you to Mr. Mike. Now, if this is your first time here, you are listening to the Learnings and Missteps podcast, where you get to meet amazing human beings just like you that are sharing their gifts and talents to leave this world better than they found it. I am Jesse, your selfish servant, and we are about to get to know Mr. Mike Chiles. Mr. Mike, what's going on, my friend?
How are you, Jesse? Great to be here.
Yeah, man. I love the bag. Like you're out on the job side, chilling. What's the weather like? You're in Kansas City, right?
I'm going to say probably like 30-ish today,
Ooh,
probably. So
okay.
still some snow on the ground. It's been a little cold.
Ooh. Did it catch you guys off guard? I mean, is it colder than normal or?
No, it's not. But, the weather in Missouri goes back and forth. So you'll have 60-degree weather, and then a week later you'll have like -10 weather. And it's always kind of back and forth. So it definitely can impact your construction flow a little bit, but
Whoa.
people do a good job of adapting, overcoming, and you don't know what you're going to get. So you just make the best of it.
Yeah. I mean, ain't that one of the maybe fun things and also super irritating things about construction that we get to contend with every possible variation that exists, whether like anything and all of the above can just come in and kick your plan right in the face.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, first question, what is a project director?
Nobody knows. No, I'm just kidding. So, so the project director would be, you have the senior management level, right? And then you have the project executive level. So of the project executive level, you would have the project director and you'd have the GM. So at J.E. Dunn, the general manager is a vice president, very outward focused, looking for clients community, also have the builder, they're in charge of their projects as the project executive, and they run those. And then, you have the project director role would be more probably down and in, less of the outward focus and more of the down and in focus. So when you have really large jobs or complicated projects, or could be several projects, but more of that down and in focus where you're training, developing, probably going to be more site visibility and those kind of things on the director side. So that's what I do for J Dunn. And
Got
I'm
it.
on right now for a large project at J Dunn.
10-4. And I imagine you have some maybe significant amount of responsibility dealing with client relationship.
Yes, definitely get to deal with I would say I'm an escalation level, right? So
Mm,
the day-to-day getting things done, everything is going well. I'm probably not hearing too much about that, but if there's escalations, we're definitely involved in those. And so my relationship, like I get to say hi or talk through a few things, but then if I'm called to the meeting, it's probably because it's something we need to solve, right, at a higher level. So
yeah.
and that's tough. I will tell you, like, when you grow up and say you're running a project and you are the PM, or even if you have a small team, I had a smaller team on my last projects and they were pretty complicated. And I was a senior PM role at that time. And I was very involved in day-to-day stuff, right? And then when I came here and had a bigger team, these people are like, "Hey, I want to do that. That's I want to learn that stuff." And it's hard for me to, take a step back and trust people a little bit to kind of let them go through and learn all that because I want to dive in and go solve the problem because I have fun doing it, right? So
Yeah.
that's one of the, I guess we'll go right into a learning or a misstep there. I came in hot, ready to dive in and get stuff done because that's what I was doing on my last job. And these guys were like, no, I want to do that stuff. I don't need you around right now. You go, let me do my thing and I'll call you if I need you. And I love that part with the team, but it's how do you get that balance of making sure things are going right and you're getting the operational excellence that you want, but also giving people a little space to try things and learn things on their own because that's how you truly learn, right? That's how
Yeah.
you know it. So that was a good balance I had to learn at the beginning of this current job.
So is it kind of like, oh, what do I do with my hands? Now that the people were taking some of the work that you're like, hell yeah, let me put my head down and bang out this stuff.
Yeah, going from a smaller team to a bigger team and having people hungry and wanting to do things, right?
Yeah.
So how do you spread that out with the team or you let the team still push themselves and grow in what they want to grow in so that they can get to the next levels and they can start managing people? That's all stuff I had to learn. I mean, it was timely that the Max Story 5 levels of leadership popped in at that time, and there was that free training offer because that kinda helped give me some insight on, those different levels of where I should be as a director, helping teach people to train people, right?
Mm.
Not
Mhm.
necessarily having that group go train people to do the things. I have people now that want to teach people how to do the things, and I need to teach the people that teach the people to do things, right? So that's a different thing to learn because you do have to give people space there. And that's something that's really hard for some people at those higher levels. Cause, honestly, it is fun to get in and grind through things sometimes. And we've talked about sometimes, I got people that are in the senior PM leadership role now, and they're kind of learning that too of they got PMs that want to go do the spreadsheets and dive into things. And they're like, we don't need you to do that. And so you're training the senior PMs to go let them try it, let them figure out their own brand and work on that stuff. And then you've got to be there as a resource. But if you feel the itch and you're just like, I want to dive in and just go tell your team, hey, can I go help you with this little thing over here?
Yeah.
So because I still need it, man. I just need a hit every now and then. Right? And but
Yes.
as long as everyone's aligned that you just wanna do that, cool. But what we don't do is communicate that well. We'll get in it because we have a need to go still feel relevant and needed, and then we'll have people mad at us, right? Thinking that we don't
Yes.
trust them to do it. And really it's if you sit back and reflect, it's really just, no, I just wanna do it because it's fun,
Yeah.
right? Not
Yeah.
because I don't trust you, I wanna do something. So, that communication, that setup is really key. That alignment is so big.
Yeah. No, I mean, it kind of reminds me of, I know for me, when I went from installer to foreman, it was the work. Like I had a lot of stuff to learn, right? Like communication, talking to people, not cussing the GC out all the time, right? There were things, some basic things. But the biggest thing that I struggled with the most was the feedback loop, right?
Mhm.
When I was an installer, every hour I could turn around and see how much my effort produced. Like I could see the fruits of my labor. Then I was a foreman and it wasn't like that anymore. Like it took days. Like I had to reconcile that the planning, the coordination, the ordering of material, staging, all of that. And that's invisible. You can't really see that. But the result of the guys being productive and staying on task, that was the feedback loop, but it was longer. And so it was very, very difficult. And I still tried to install stuff. I had one guy, Robert, I took on this little, just a single little bathroom. It was a water closet and a lavatory. And it was an MOB, renovate, finish out. Anyways, I said, I'm going to do that rough in. Robert calls me aside. He says, hey man, come here. I want to check this out. And he showed me. I was like, damn, that looks like crap. Like the plumbing, it was just horribly done, ink, loose ends everywhere. And I said, who the hell did that? He's like, Jesse, you, and you've been working on it for 2 weeks. It's maybe a 2-day job, maybe.
Mm.
And I said, "Oh," he says, "Stop doing that." He was like my lead plumber. He's like, "Dude, stop doing that. Just get us the material, get us all the stuff we need, get everybody out of our ways. You keep playing around with that, and it's a waste of time. We're gonna have to fix it." I'm like, damn it. And so that was like the point where I said, okay, I need to shift gears. But anyways, whole point, like you said, it was tough shifting
Mhm.
the dopamine source
Right.
from from the fruits of our labor to actually developing people. And when it comes to developing people, it's a whole different game, right? Because you don't see the instant results. Sometimes you don't see them for 2 or 3 years. You feel like you're wasted your time. And then somebody just finally, it all comes together and they click. Now, I've worked around a lot of executives, senior leaders, and this all the sort. And I hear this all the time. Train your replacement. I'm training my replacement, which I think I understand and accept the idea. Except when I ask them, how are you training your replacement? They have no answer. What do you think about that?
Ooh, so do I have an answer to that? I think a lot of that is you are going to start people managing a process, right?
Mhm.
And then as they go ace process, you're going to give them more and more process, right? And then there'll come a time where they can just manage that whole system, right? And then they can start teaching people how to do the processes. And honestly, they have a lot of say on, I mean, here's the thing, leadership is influence,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
So regardless of those titles, you can start to see who your hungry people are, who are going to influence job sites, who and people are going to go to who gives them the answers, right?
Yes.
So so you start to see, are these people hungry? Do they want more? And then you give them more, and you got to kind of always keep, you want to keep reinforcing them to do a great job at what their role is, but then you also want to get them out of their comfort zone a little bit, right? And you
Yep.
want to continue to push them and guide them. Now, the training your replacement is important because we we don't get to grow if people don't make room for us to grow into, right?
Yep.
So we have to, and this is what we were talking about earlier a little bit, like I may be able to go effectively do something, but as much as I could do that, I need to go train the other person to do that.
We're gonna do the L&M family member shout out. So here we go. This one goes to Mr. Gary Martinez. And then folks, if y'all don't know Gary, hopefully you don't, because if you want dirt on me, Gary's got it. But he was in a recent time management workshop we did, and he left me this review. He says, Jesse is always very spirited and honest, makes you think and helps put things into perspective. His training is very well thought out, and Jesse makes sure you have an understanding of all the information. Oh, brother, Gary, thank you, man. When back in the day, Gary, I think, was an apprentice. I was maybe a foreman or a superintendent. So that was a long, long, long time ago. So, like, for real, he's got the dirt. For the rest of you family members out there, you take the time to leave a comment, leave a review, do a share, all of the things. I super, super appreciate it. And it gives me an excuse to shout you out in the future.
And that's not me saying, go do it, what I do, check box this, check box this. That's you saying, this is what I want done. And you got to kind of let them live in the messy a little bit, right? You got to kind of let them, the master spreadsheet that we came up with and made our lives so much easier. It's cool that people get to benefit from that, but we also need that person to go make the messy, take that messy thing and make their own master awesome spreadsheet. That's honestly, it's probably going to be better than ours anyway, right?
Right, right.
So, so that, but we have to give people that time to go try those experiments a little bit and time to go learn how to manage people. And then we got to be there as a backstop. One, we don't want to get them. We got to be a backstop and help them. We got to show them we got their back and that
Yes.
we're letting them learn to be successful there. But when we give them that safe zone, we got to let them try and we got to let them mess up a couple times and we got to be there to just guide them through that. And I think you just know. It's hard to answer because I think there are people you just know. Like I know who could replace me on my job site now, but it's because I've watched them. I've watched them learn. I've watched them grow. Could they do it when they jumped on the job site? No, but now that we've been going through the stuff for a year and we've been learning the team and the team's been working up in different roles, do you there becomes that time where you can naturally see them wanting to step into more, and you just got to give them that rope, right? You just got to let them step into more, and you're there to guide them. But I call it that exit the spotlight, right? You kind of, it's like that Homer Simpson picture where you kind of
He
like
sinks into the book.
back into the bushes a little bit, kind of like just like you got it all set up, you're running a few meetings, and then you see people starting to kind of take in and lead those meetings. Let them lead it. See what happens, right? And it's that kind of thing that you'll see them start to step up, and you'll see them get hungry for that, and you just got to give them that. Let them have it. And
Yes.
then it's not scary to go get working you out of a job, right? Because you've seen them do it. And
Yeah.
there's another thing where it's you got to do the job before you get the title, right? And that's another thing that people see too. And you got to show that you can do it
Right.
before they're gonna say, okay, now you can do it, right? I mean, I'm
Yes.
sure it's the same on the trade side with working in a foreman. Like
Oh yeah.
they can see naturally that people are coming to you for answers. They can see that you're organized and you got your stuff figured out and you know the plan. And they're gonna be like, okay, let's let Jesse run the next look ahead or the safety talk, right? And it's you slowly give them more and see how they
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. I love it because what you said, you give them a process at a time so they can demonstrate competency, and then you let them have it. And then
Mhm.
you expand their comfort zone and give them some responsibility of people and be the backstop so that they can learn their way. Right. I think there's tremendous value in letting people learn through the struggle. I think the struggle is where the learning happens.
Absolutely.
So you have a method, and I applaud you. And of course, that's why we connect. But I've heard so many people in your position say, oh, I'm training my replacement. And they can't even articulate what you just articulated. And I've watched them. You know what they do? They throw people in the deep end. And if they don't figure it out, they say it's a talent problem.
Mm,
And if they do figure it out, they say, I'm a great trainer. And that's
mm,
bullshit. That is
mm.
false, poor, weak leadership. And so, folks out there, L&M family, you've got a director and executive, and they're doing some of the things that Mike just described. Thank your lucky stars, because they ain't all like that. A lot of them it's a sink or swim deal. And that's taxing on the human being, on the individual, and it's expensive for the company. I mean, you pointed out, right? The reason I got selected to be a foreman is because I was a really good installer. I was fast. I didn't make a lot of mistakes because I was really good at math. I'm super competitive. And they said, hey, he has a plan. He does his work. He's organized, all those things. Let's make him a foreman. The problem with that was now I'm responsible for people. And I had no interest at all about other human beings. The only one
Mm,
I cared about was me.
mm,
So it took me a while, and by a while, I mean a couple years, maybe a few years, to start figuring out how to develop people.
mm,
I know that's a huge mistake, and it's not just in our industry; it's everywhere. Where we have systems that help people develop the skills and competencies on doing and managing things. And because they're good at that, we then throw them into this role of managing and leading people. But we don't do, and there's no system to help them build that skill set. Have you seen, is that just Texas, or does that happen over in the show?
dude, you're hitting so many chili buttons right now, dude. Oh man. So I'm gonna tell you this. First off, I'll have a little sympathy for those people, those leaders, because there's truth to systems, not people, right?
What?
And so these people that aren't leading well, they're a product of the race, right? So they're probably throwing people in the deep end because they were thrown in the deep end and they just said,
Mhm.
figure it out. But that doesn't mean that it's right. It's just what they knew, right? And so
Yep.
So Max says people hire for competency and they fire for character. And this is here's the thing. Why do people follow someone? 87% based off character, who they are, and 13% based off competency, what they know, right?
Mhm.
So we see we can measure the competency, so we're comfortable rewarding the competency and saying we're going to be in charge now of people, but we as companies are not training the character piece enough, and character can be taught.
Absolutely.
Character absolutely can be taught. No one is just you are who you are. Everyone can learn, everyone can get better. And that growth mindset, Pete, that I think the number one thing we need to be teaching when people get to that manager level is that growth mindset. We
Yeah.
need people understanding you have to experiment, you have to fail, and it's okay. And that's how you learn. We have to get people understanding that so they're comfortable trying these things. And then we can teach the character piece. It's hard when someone tells you you're bad with people, you take that personally, right? But it's like until you know where you're at and you know
Right.
how, like a lot of times we'll have bosses tell us if we're effectively leading or not. Like, why? The people I'm leading are down here. I need to know if those people think that I'm effectively leading,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
don't grade me on a leader until you've talked to the people I'm leading because
Yes.
they're the ones who know, right?
Yep.
And that's why the last planner feedback's so important too, right? Like the people putting the work in place, I'm gonna sit over here in the trailer and I'm gonna go tell Jesse. Jesse's got to go be done with this much conduit by this time. I have no idea what it takes. I have
Right.
no idea if that's doable or not. And if I could partner up with you and get your insight and feedback, I can go make a plan that's realistic. Now my bosses aren't mad at me because I didn't just surprise them with some crazy unrealistic plan. And then I'm not trying to defend myself and guard, here's why I put my schedule together and why I did all the things. And I'm getting into CYA mode now where I just got to
Yep.
protect myself because I wasn't effectively leading, but I wasn't effectively involving the right people and taking that feedback and learning how to use that feedback, right? And that to me is we just got to work better as an industry. This is an industry thing where
10-4.
we have to build character better because we're promoting people and we're training them how to do things and we're training a lot more tools, but we're not training the character it takes to go influence people to use those tools.
Yes. 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 And yes. I've been fortunate in my career. I wish I could just say I designed my career the way I like on purpose, but I didn't, right? I spent over 20 years on the subcontractor side of the business. Then I went to the dark side. I went to work for GC for 3.5 years, worked all over the country. So as a subcontractor, I worked on at least 100, could be more. I didn't keep count, but at least 100 different projects in those 20 plus years with different superintendents, different general contractors, right. Then I went to work for the GC and I got to see projects all over the country, every market segment. And what I got to see that was like, I wasn't looking for it, but it was really interesting. When I was on the trade side, I had multiple bosses, most like internal superintendents, PMs, business unit managers, like people with leadership and influence. And then I got to see the similar thing happen when I was working with the GC amongst trades and GC projects. And it was like the leaders, and when I say leader, I'm going to say whoever had the most authority on the job site, right? The ones that had like really amazing experiences, meaning the people around them were growing. There was work happening. The people didn't hate each other. It was like a no drama, just awesome, awesome experience. And they were pretty happy, right? The one thing all of those people have in common was they had a people-centered focus. They cared about their people developing and having the conditions to perform well on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
I have had superintendents back when I was a foreman that were like that, not a bunch of them. When I was an installer, I had foremen that were like that, not a bunch of them. When I was on the GC side, I got to see PMs, PXs, superintendents, all of the above, same thing. Now, some people get that confused and they think that I'm talking about the powder puffs, right? The ones that were real nice with everybody and
Mhm,
just I'm like, no, 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 no. They didn't tolerate BS either.
mhm,
And that was part of the recipe of them making sure the conditions were set for people to thrive and grow.
mhm.
You want to guess how many times I've been able to see that?
No.
I'll tell you. So, as an installer, before I got into superintendent and whatever, 3 projects in my whole career.
Wow.
3 projects. The rest were smack talking, short sighted, no planning, blaming ignorant GCs. And guess what?
Mhm,
I was as ignorant as they were. Right.
mhm.
I knew how to play that game. We're just going to fight all day, every day. And that was the majority.
Yeah.
Then I went up, then I got in the office, same thing, low percentage. I had 2 really, really forward thinking leaders that I was reporting to directly that had that, whatever you want to call it, right? They created the conditions and they also didn't tolerate mediocrity from me. When I went to the GC side, same thing, bunches and bunches of projects over those 3 years. And it was a small handful that significant difference. And I'm not just talking about morale, like schedule performance, budget performance, like promotions, bonuses. I mean, real measurable outcomes of their leadership style. But the one key thing that I got to see in all of them was that they took an active role in creating the conditions for their people to learn. They developed their people
Mhm.
and they got people off the bus if they didn't belong on the bus.
Mhm.
What do you think about that, Mike? You see that out there sometimes?
I mean, I've been with Jay Dunn. This will be my 20th year with Jay Dunn, and I mean, there's a reason I've been with Jay Dunn that long, right? I mean, I do see. I'm proud of the company and that I think they have really focused on the relationship piece and understanding the importance of that, and that's one thing I've felt like I've had support there on wanting to build those relationships. Honestly, when I was on the road, we didn't have that luxury of people knew who we were, like, because we're big in Kansas City, right? So there's a
Yeah.
lot of people that just they're used to how we work. They know what it takes to work for us, and they're gonna do that, right? And we there's a lot of work out there, and they like working with our people and our teams, and we can get things done. And if they make Jay Dunn mad, people Jay Dunn call and they say, "Hey, this is Jay Dunn. We want stuff right," and they'll say, "Okay," and they'll do it. Some people will, but when you go down to a site that nobody knows who Jay Dunn is, right?
Yep.
Then that becomes really, really big on you have to build the relationships because those people don't know you at all.
Yep.
They don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care what your company's name is. They don't care how much history you got working, whatever. It's just, are you going to build an effective relationship with them so that they get what they want so that you can move forward? And I will say that Jay Dunn has had like I will tell you first, Bill Dunn Sr. is I think he's 102 right now. The best person that I met in relationships, dude. Like
Wow.
I'm an intern and I'm sitting down at lunch and this guy, he just comes up and he's like, "Hey, anyone sitting here?" And he just starts a conversation with me. And my wife was visiting that she wasn't my wife at the time, but we're just checking out Jay Dunn and Mr. Dunn, that owner of the company comes up here and just starts talking about World War II and the bombers and his experience there and all the stuff. And that was the kind of yeah, I mean, that's why I was like, dude, I'm hooked. I'm excited. Like,
I mean,
that's awesome, right?
yeah.
And that's the thing is when I did a little, we talked to old dogs. I did a little old dog truck talk on that. But when I go back in my project history, like I can, it'll take me a minute. I can go think of the details of what departments we built or what like that. But I can tell you immediately who had a huge impact on me relationship wise, right? And I'm telling you, it is all about building the relationships.
Yeah.
And when we value people as people and we get their feedback, man, the sky's the limit on what that
Yes.
team can do, right? And unfortunately, I've had several jobs where that's been the case, where it's been building the relationships was key, and we have relationships. I'm not saying everybody's softies, like you were saying. Like
Right. Right.
honestly, this is one of the hardest things for me as as kind of an in-betweener here between the generations, because that boomer generation, man, like you just grind and you get it done, dude.
Yes.
And that was the thing is you put in what hours, you do what it takes, and you just get it done. And that's how if you think of the leaders and the bosses in today, that's the generation, right?
Yeah.
And then now there's a lot more of that what's in it for me mentality, right?
Mhm.
Where we have been in plenty for a while in the industry. And I came in when it was very, very slim pickings, which is why I was on the road. And thank God that J Dunn was big enough that I could travel around, because otherwise I probably would have been newly married, freshly graduated, and then looking for a job, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was actually a blessing I could hit the road during that economic downturn and be able to keep my job. But a lot of people haven't had that. They haven't experienced that yet if they've been in the industry less than 15 years. So
Yeah.
so there's a demand right now for people, right? And
Oh, yeah.
so people can they can pick a few more things that they're going to work with. But I'm telling you, those people that maybe I wasn't a big fan of them at the time, but man, I have so much respect for what they taught me now,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And I mean, I even had a couple professors like that, man. I just did not like them at all in their class until I graduated, right? And
Yeah.
then they were like my favorite people because they pushed me, right?
Yeah.
And we don't want to lose that life's hard. We don't want to lose that construction's hard, and that sometimes you just gotta grind through and you
Yep.
gotta figure that out. And that's something the old dogs have talked about a few times, because we all got to where we're at from that grind. But how do you want to make life better for the industry, but on the flip side of that too, you want them to appreciate what that takes to get to that level, right?
Yep.
And Jay Dunn's just given me good opportunities to go do that. And I've always had great people in the company. Like Gordon, our president now, is one of the most people-centered people I know. And I just
Nice.
every time he speaks, I just absolutely love hearing him speak, because it's people, right?
Right.
And that's what gets me fired up. I know I've been in the construction industry for over 20, but people, building relationships, people
Yeah.
that go build the buildings, that's what fires me up, man.
Yeah. No, totally. I love you said feedback, right? Feedback from the people. You said it earlier, right? If you're going to judge me on my leadership, ask my team. I don't need to hear it
Right,
from you. I need to hear it from my team. And
right,
me, I'm biased towards the trades always and forever.
right.
And it's funny when I hear a GC team bragging about their lean program or whatever it is, right? Their magical processes. And I'm like, oh, okay. Where are you getting that feedback from?
Mhm.
What do you mean? Well, you're talking about all your systems and everything, your whatever is the best in the world and it's amazing. But y'all aren't the victims of that system.
Mhm.
The trades are.
Mhm.
How many times have you gone to ask the trades how this is working?
Right.
And the answer is always, oh shit, we haven't. I know. That's not a
Yeah.
judgment. It's just something to think about when we actually did a debrief on a project because I was with the trade on that specific project. And I had to deal with my teams, right? And because I was an office rat by this time. And whenever they wanted me to come out to the project, my only condition was I will go to the project, but you can't take me into any meetings and you can't let any of the GC staff know that I'm there because I was responsible for all of our manpower. I was placed at that point in time. I was the one that assigned people to projects and the whole thing. I was also responsible for training, et cetera. I said, if the GC knew that I was there and that I'm that guy, I'm not gonna be able to help you, and they're just gonna bug the hell out of me and complain and tell me all their problems. So I was out there on a weekly basis helping them smooth a bunch of stuff out, and I got to see the execution of their super fancy plan and program, and it was a disaster for the
Mhm.
trades. It
Yeah.
was good for them, like for real. It was good. The project worked out, but the execution was just it was poorly done. And then I went to work for that firm. And I heard them bragging about, oh, this is our gold seal, gold star pro. What? That was a disaster. What are you talking about? But obviously, there was no feedback loop to help them see. And it was small, it was those small, big things, right? That really undermined the culture and the relationships. There was no relationship. So just everything was very transactional. So we got the feedback loop going and they were like, ooh, yes, we did that. Yes. Now we see. And so point being, the feedback loops are super tight, and taking intentional steps to really source the trades. And for anybody out there that's listening, I'm not talking about getting the project manager for the sub to give you feedback, or their
Right.
business development, or their VPs or executives, because those people are going to tell you what you want to hear because they want more work from you.
Mm.
You need to ask the foremen and the installers that are on site, how is this working for you? You think I'm talking like, is that too crazy, too ambitious?
No, I think that's important, and I will say I think Jaden does a good job of getting feedback, but I will say it is probably largely, at least the documented stuff is at the
Yep.
office level, right?
Yep.
And this is why lean is important for execs, because if you are doing lean yourself and you are getting, say let's just take the line from Scrum. If you're doing twice the work in half the time, then you now have margin and capacity. Now, that margin and capacity isn't to go do the more things. That's what your people want to do, right? You need to use that to go have time to go walk a job and just be curious on the job site. Look around, stop, talk to somebody. How are things going? How does the, because I'm telling you, when you got heart in it, like when people are behind the mission, you can feel it.
Yes.
I can step in a trailer and I can feel in
Yes.
5 minutes how this culture is, right?
Cool.
That's something that you need to get that vibe on the job site too. And if everyone's grinding and upset, but then you go up here and everyone says it's awesome, well, yeah, you're getting stuff done, but are people enjoying it, right? Because
Right.
because people will go grind for you for a while, right? And just
Yes.
because they're getting stuff done doesn't mean that they're heart and soul in. Like you bought their hands, you bought their head, but have you bought the heart? Are you getting the heart?
Right.
And the heart shows up like year 2, year 3,
Yep.
or if there's choices, do people stay with you, right?
Right.
That's where you know that they truly appreciate working there, right?
100%.
And in this day and age, man, we have a huge demand for all that. So we've just got to make sure that we are taking more time to go get that real feedback. And here's the thing, like as much as we try to standardize feedback and stuff like that, there is something to just go do it, right? Like
Just go
behind you.
talk to a person.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And if you feel like I'm thinking of your firebox as you're going through this, because we have those, you got to think about what is your goal,
That's
right?
it.
And if my goal is just to do things, then if I'm doing the firebox, then talking to this person at the water cooler, that's a waste of time, right?
Yep.
That's not what I want, because my goal is just to do more things, right? But if my goal is relationships, then that time is now very important at the water cooler, and I
Yes.
need to not do so many task things so that I can have and actually be present and enjoy
Yep.
that time at the water cooler, right?
Yep.
So that I think that's something that the strong doers, when we go get promoted, that's something that's hard for us, is we feel like if we're busy, we're sitting down grinding on things.
Yep.
And we got to realize that if the goal now is developing people, we've got to go learn people, right?
Yes.
We can't
Yes.
develop people if we don't know them, right?
Yep. No,
And
I
that takes
think
time.
my prediction, my mission, both are the individuals, and I'm not even going to say companies, because you know as well as I do, there ain't one damn company that has a consistent experience on every single one of their job sites. They got hot spots and they got cold spots. I'll
Right.
just say that. But the leaders the influencers on those jobs, the decision makers on those projects or the business units or whatever, the ones that make an investment in providing an experience where people feel appreciated are going to win the talent game, period. And so, like you said, we can get efficient, we can scrum it, we can pull it, we can do whatever you want to it. But if you're not reallocating that bandwidth, that time to connect with people and make a memorable experience for all the men and women that come on the job site, they're going to go somewhere they feel appreciated because, like you said, they have a choice. And even worse now compared to 15 years ago, you can make money on the internet selling pictures of your feet. Like, I don't, you and I, you probably had to fill
Not
out,
me. People would probably pay me to not show my
right?
feet.
But the point is, people can make money from home now. Before we
Right.
had to go and fill out a paper application and go in for an interview and do all of this. You have to do that anymore. There's all kinds of ways to make money online. So if I could sit at home wearing my flip flops all day long and work 5 or 6 hours for 30, 40 grand, or have to wake up and drive across town and go put up with people yelling and screaming at me for 60, I'll take the 30 or 40, baby, all day long. And so I think it's imperative, and I'm glad like folks like you, the old dogs and so forth, are really focusing on how do we build these relationships? How do we stop treating subcontractors as disposable, right? Like long-term relationships. How do we invest in people? How can we differentiate ourselves by saying, when trades come to our project, not only do they make money, but their personnel leave with a bigger skill set, a better way of doing the work. Those contractors are the ones that are going to win the game. I'm betting everything on it, Mike. We'll see if I win. What do you think? 2026 is right around the corner, and I want to help you make this year the year you finally put yourself first. How? With the Self First Framework. There's a full half-day webinar that's going to give you the tools and the tactics to plan effectively, to finally make room for yourself in your schedule, and to execute daily so that you can dominate the day. I know 4 hours is a big commitment, so maybe you want a little more intel before you like go all in. And that's perfect because I got a sweet little webinar that you're invited to. There's a link down there in the show notes. Pick the date that works best for you. Sign up for the webinar and let's do the damn thing.
Yeah, I think it's all about relationships. And I mean, there are a lot of companies out there you can build that they'll build the building for you. And
Yep.
I've talked to owners about that too. But what's that experience? What does it feel like when it's
Yep.
being built? And that's a huge goal for us, is to make that experience in the relationship piece a key of that.
Yeah.
And we're not perfect. Not every job's perfect by any means, but I think we all got to be on a path, and we all just got to be real with that. I mean, let's be honest, everything that our owners want, everything that we talk about in our meetings, none of that happens if the people out on the job site aren't there, right?
True.
And if they don't feel like they got flow, and they don't feel like they can just do their job and plan their day and go execute their work and feel like they're appreciated in doing that, then they won't be around, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, you can see that now. Work's hard, right? Pouring concrete in the middle of the summer and masonry work is hard. And
Like,
who are the people that have been in this digital native world that are going to go sign up for that now? We're seeing that in the industry, right? That's why there's such a big push right now on career innovation centers and the STEM stuff and getting the trades into the high schools, because this is going to be a big problem here if we don't start thinking about what is that environment like for these workers? How do we go get people into the industry, right?
yeah. Yeah.
Something to be thinking about. And that, honestly, that to me is why I joined the old dogs, and why that's so important to me, is because of that very thing, the knowledge gap that we have, right? Like people understanding, appreciating the industry, but also people closing that gap between the people working on the job site and then the people up in an office or off the job site. Like, how do we go bridge that gap, right? How do we bridge that How do we build those relationships? How do we get more aligned there? How do we get everybody on the same page and empowered and feel like they're working and moving forward? And then kids in the industry, and how do we teach them how to appreciate the industry and what opportunities are available in the industry and how rewarding it can be to go see the work that you put in place every day and to track those things and track your improvement. That stuff's all important. And that's why the old dogs exist, right? Is to try to bridge that gap. And that's what I love about it. I can have a meeting and talk to people from all over the country that are on job sites with different companies and different people all over the country. And we can get their feedback and their input on what are their struggles, what are their lessons learned, what are the wins. And we can all just get better from that. Man, it pumps me up every time I'm on one of those calls because it's just cool stuff you learn. And man, if we could get that down to the trade levels, if we could start sharing those wins at the trade levels and we could start just even at small things like in a safety huddle. What if we do talk about character for a little bit? Max Story's got a good toolbox tip thing where you just pull it up and it's all about character, right?
Yeah.
We've started experimenting with that on our job site. I really love the content in there. And it's been cool. You can start to see some discussion happening now and people thinking about that. And what if we ask people what they're excited about? What if we ask people what those are wonderful ways to connect people and make those relationships.
Yeah.
So
What if we just treated people like they were people? I'm not being
right.
sarcastic. I mean,
No,
I was
right.
blind to that for so long. And to your point, I think the industry is largely blind to it. And I'm excited. Like it's not great, but I'm excited about this massive labor shortage that is manifesting itself slowly. The funny thing to me is this is not news. We knew, I mean, hell, Mike, it was 1995. I graduated high school. I went to an apprenticeship orientation thing, and they said the average age of a journeyman plumber in Texas at that time was like 47.
Mhm.
And for every two that was exiting the industry, there was one coming in. I was
Right.
18. I said,
Mm.
I'm going to make a lot of money. Like it was
Yeah.
clear. There's not going to be
Yeah.
enough. And that was based on the boomer generation leaving the industry,
Mhm.
which again, that's not news. We've known it this whole time and we have not done enough to mitigate that loss. Now, what we didn't anticipate, I think, as a we'll just say world, was how much technology, how many doors that was going to open for just about every damn person in the world. And so that's compounding the problem. I'm glad that we have this problem because it's going to force decision makers out there in the industry to do it differently. Historically, what we've done is just thrown money at it. Money ain't enough no more. Money's not a differentiator. Benefits and competitive compensation. So what? How you going to treat me? And that's what I'm here to support. Most of the stuff I do is super, super people focused. How can we make it invest in ourselves so we can better serve people? How can we redesign the work to better serve the people that were doing the work? All of it is focused on creating an experience for everybody that comes on site to grow and learn and thrive, period.
Mhm.
Because the people that do it, I'm telling you, I think they're gonna win the game, no doubt. Now we've mentioned the old dogs. And you said there's a call. I'm guessing there's a monthly call. Oh no, twice a month.
So yeah. So anyone can go join the lean coffee that we have once a month.
Okay.
Um, and that's open for anybody. And then there is for the members, there's another call where we actually start learning. Like we had Genius Spark for Heather Armand walked us through that with Rex Miller's Genius Spark, and you're going to be on there, and Felipe is going to be on there, and we're going to have. So the goal is the pack learns new tricks,
Mhm.
right? And then we need to go try the new tricks. And we need to go spread that slowly on these job sites, right? And take those lessons we're learning and go share those within the community and help each other all go get better, right? But then there's the reaching the community and the knowledge share piece on that. And that's the lean coffee. You got all this construction experience here. What are things on your mind? What are things you want to talk about? And anyone can go pitch those items and we'll just talk about them and we'll share wisdom, right?
Yep.
And then there's also the piece of, okay, how do we go speak to the universities and how do we go share some tidbits and lessons learned with the students? So the cadence is the community meeting and then the member meeting where we go learn some new tricks, right?
Nice. Nice.
Um, and then we'll have the visits to the universities that come periodically. So
Yeah.
let's get to a goal of, let's say, quarterly for now, but
Right.
we'll just kind of see how that works too. But we definitely have a big goal to talk to people coming into the industry,
Yeah.
make sure that they are aware of some of the lessons learned and knowledge there. So
Yeah. Beautiful. I love it. And I love it because there's two things that I particularly love about it. One is there's clearly a desire and an appetite for that community, right? From what I understand, the majority of the people in there are superintendents or are on the GC side of the business.
right.
The fact that so many people have signed up in such a short period of time is a signal that people are out there just looking for like-minded individuals and they feel like they're alone in an island. So I think there's massive just value in that. The second thing I like about it is I happen to know a bunch of the old dogs and they're my type of people. So it's attracting a particular type of leader that I'm going to say, when I say leader, I'm not talking about somebody with authority. I'm talking about
Hmm.
somebody that is actively engaged in learning and learning how to and actually developing people. If
Hmm.
not developing people in Jesse land, you are not a leader. And so what I see is a concentration of leaders that continue to be attracted to the thing and help it grow, which I absolutely love. Now, the one thing that I want to plant in your head and in the L&M family's head out there, and it's kind of the session that I'm going to do with you guys here. I think it's in March or April. I think we're missing the distribution part of the idea. And the idea is share the knowledge, right? How do we close the knowledge gap, transfer the knowledge? And that people have been talking about that. Again, it's another one of those forever, right? There's people capitalizing on it, building rinky dink L&M learning and management systems and just wishy-washy time. And it's there and people are paying big bucks for it. What I think the distribution is, and you've said it multiple times, it's people.
Hmm. Right.
And so if I want to connect with the high school, with the university, with the trades, nobody cares about, we said it earlier, right? There's the competency, said what was it, 17%, 83% character. I think the focus on how do we get this knowledge and transfer it, who cares? If nobody
Hmm.
likes you, there's
Hmm.
no knowledge there's nowhere to transfer the knowledge. So then the
Right.
question, how do you help people like you?
Hmm.
Now, it's not about changing your behavior to make people like you. It's how do you let people know that you're out there? And
Hmm.
that's what Adam, I got with Adam, bro. Y'all are talking about transferring knowledge, but I only see 2 or 3 of the old dogs that are active. That's the mission. Why aren't the old dogs being more visible so that they can attract people to impart the knowledge onto?
Yeah. No,
What do you,
that's a good point. I think that's a good point. I mean, yeah, I think that's the thing is as you're learning the new tricks, like you need to go try them. You need to go start influencing the job sites. You need to start sharing those lessons learned and that, yeah, LinkedIn's a good way to publicly share that stuff for sure. But it is going to be, if we are working on job sites and and over the ones we're running, we probably won't see that impact like
right,
right away, right? We're
right,
going to start to see it when more old dogs join or lessons learned come from other parts of the team and we can go share that. And so I think we have to, the ones that are there, we probably need to be better about, if you've got ideas, share them. If you've got lessons learned, share them. We need to do a better job on that piece. And then there's also this other piece that's probably over time we're going to start to see. I think the roots are coming up. They're starting to pop through. We're starting to see a plant. And I think we'll start to see some fruits there over the
Yeah.
next couple of years as job sites start trying
Yes.
these things and
Yes.
learning from them.
Yeah.
So
Grassroots effort, 100%. There's y'all are on to something. No doubt it's going to be impactful in the industry. And I'm glad that y'all are going to let me move my mouth there for a little bit. And
oh, anytime, Jesse.
I'm grateful that I'm going to be hanging out with you live and in person here in a couple of weeks.
Dude, I am really excited for that. I am telling you, the SQI that you did at LCI and my brother got to go to that, man, that's a game changer. It
Yes.
really is. And learning that and then seeing the ergonomics lesson that our friend from across the pond taught us,
Yep.
it was game changing. I mean, to look at what's hard for the worker and what are they stressing and straining on. They can do that today,
Right
but
now.
go do that for 5 years and they're not going to have a back anymore. They're not going to have arms anymore. And those are the things that really just changed how I ever view a safety walk. I will never do a safety walk the same after hearing that from y'all. So
Yeah.
that right there is industry changing. And I hope that everybody can catch on and learn that. So we got our 2 jobs that I have influence on. We're coming together. We're going to have Jesse for a day and he's going to teach us how to manage our time and get that firebox figured out. And then we're going to go try to hit the job site and learn what we can see. But you know, that's what I love about what you're doing is that is a very, very, very intentional reason why lean principles are very important, right? Because we talk about this is a good example of you can go track on a job site. Here's all the ways we eliminated waste at that GC level you're talking about, right? We did this, we did this, we did this, cool. And then you go to the job site and talk to the workers, and they're like, "Man, this sucks," right?
Mhm.
But you right there, what you're doing is you're going to the worker. You are literally eliminating waste, but you're doing it in something that's very, very important to the worker because it's going to give their back another 10 years. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So the lean principles are very, very important, but the why behind the lean transformation and the lean principles is a very key part that we cannot forget
Amen.
because again, it's the people, the respect for people right there in the middle. And that's harder to measure because people are tough. So it's easy to go grab the spreadsheet and go track the productivity and those things. That's all good. The people, are they being impacted? Are their lives being better by that? That's what it's all about, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. It took me, I got introduced to the lean construction in 2000.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until, let's see, what are we in 26? Man, it was 2020 maybe when I finally, oh, that's why everybody hates me. Because I didn't care. It wasn't about making the work better for people.
Yeah.
For me, it was always about optimizing the process, producing outcomes, hitting the goals, making it faster, making it easier, not easier, making it cheaper.
Right.
I didn't care about how you felt. And anyways, when I finally saw the light, I'm like, oh my God. And then I did it that way. Let me just make this better for you. And they liked it, and they didn't avoid me, and they would ask for my ideas on the next piece of work. I was like, man, I've been doing it.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, man. I was introduced to pole planing, right? And I didn't know it was a lean thing or not, but someone came down and trained us in pole planing. And I liked that it just brought people together and I could talk to them. Now I finally at least had a method to go capture the notes on what people were saying. And it was really visual, which
Yes,
helped
yes.
me, right? So I locked in on that and used that. But then we did have this lean movement. We wanted to use lean more on jobs, right? And then I had someone come up to me and they said, "Hey, I want to do lean on your job, and I got to go tell your superintendent that he doesn't know what he's doing and he's got to do things this way." And I was like, "You're crazy. Get off my job."
I've been
So,
doing the same thing.
so, so I had written off lean at that point,
Mhm.
and I was like, "No, if that's what it's if you're going to add more work and tell people that have been building for 20 years that they don't know what they're doing, then that's not going to work." Now, I will give credit to Mr. Dan Shipley. who I've not given enough credit to on podcasts lately. Sorry, Dan. But Dan Shipley, it really turned that corner for me. And again, it's a relationship piece.
Yep.
And it wasn't because he came in and he would come sit in my office and just talk to me and built a relationship with me. And then I was like, okay, we'll try this out. And then, dude, when I saw results, dude, I was like, I'm in. And he woke up a beast, right?
Yeah.
But it was because he built a relationship with me. He didn't come in telling me what to do right away, right?
Yep.
And construction people, we're proud, right? We don't. You come in telling me what to do. I've been doing this for a long time, right? But if you go get, if this is why you have to go to people and you say what bothers them, right?
Yeah.
And then you're using your lean toolbox to go fix what bothers them.
Yes.
And now you've got a fan, right?
Yes.
And so that's the key that, so if Dan didn't come in and build that relationship with me, I would not have tried it on my last couple on those projects. And then I wouldn't have had those results and it wouldn't have blown up the beast you see before you today that just talks about lean all the time and bugs everybody with it. So
yeah, no, I feel you, man. And that is the secret. What's kicking you in the face? Sure, I got all this lean stuff. That was like my ultra. I'd show up on the project as superintendent and say, man, I don't have time for you today. Like, it's cool. It was on my list. Your job's on my list. I was supposed to come and check it out. You're busy. The team's busy. Is it okay if I post up right here in the trailer and just work? Yeah, okay. And I was listening and watching and seeing what was painful for them.
right.
Then I said, hey, man, all right, thanks for letting me hang out. Hey, I noticed that this looks like it's something that you're struggling with. Yeah, I'm sick and tired of okay. I have an idea. Let me show you. And then whatever it was, right? I kind of get some blue tape on the walls and say, if you did, how do you think that would work? Man, I like it. Okay. You want to try it, or you want me to kind of walk the whole team through it? Can you come back next week and walk absolutely. And it was just that. Okay, I made it a little bit better for him. Then he said, you know what?
Yeah.
What else you got? I said, well, I
Right.
got some more. But here's the pain points that I see. I have something for this one, and this one. Which pain point do you want to attack first?
Right.
Whereas before that, what I would do is I'd come with my what do you call that when you're at the doctor? They kind of pull up the clipboard and they see, oh yeah, you got these things. You need a shot and you need a pill and you need I'd come out and say, okay, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. If I haven't you started this is what you need to do. Here's all your 8 ways. Here's your 5S program. Looks like crap. Fix it.
Right.
And nobody liked me when I did it that way.
No, and it's not effective. Right.
Not effective at all. 100%. Oh man. Well, I'm sure we could tell lean war stories forever, but I want to, did I give you a heads up about the closing question, Mike?
I don't think so.
Okay, good. And I suspect that yours is going to be one of those profound, really forward thinking responses just because of the type of person you are. It's clear that you value people. It's clear that you've walked many paths and you've taken the good from that. And now you're out there working to make it better for others, not just yourself. So here is the question. What is the promise you are intended to be?
The promise that I am intended to be. Well, I think everybody that is on this earth has a reason we're here. And we have a unique reason why we're here that only we can do. And so my job is to go find what I'm designed to do, and then I need to go do it to my heart's content. And this is why I need to go be intentional on learning the lessons as I go, the learnings and missteps. I have had a few, right? I don't want to start singing Frankie Sinatra right now, but I've had a few, right? And the thing is, I'm on a path, I'm on a journey, I'm on a design that I am intended to have, right? And what I need to do is I need to be intentional on doing that. And my job is going to be influencing people as I go. I've got to go my family has got to go further than I did, right? I got to go climb that mountain and I got to go do what I'm supposed to do. And I got to hand that baton off and they got to go keep going and keep climbing and getting it higher. And I am so thankful for the people that have come before me that have set good examples and set a good foundation for me. But my job is to go intentionally make that impact, make the world will be a better place if we do what we're designed to do. And I need to go do that. And that's why your firebox and eliminating waste. And if we get our goal right, and our goal is people, we are going to be intentional about those relationships with people. And I'm telling you, when I die, no one's going to give a rip about how many jobs I built or what jobs I built or if they were gas stations or if they were multi-story buildings or stadiums. No one's going to care about that. No one's going to care if I got 20 spreadsheets done and someone else got 5 done. They're going to care. They're going to care about the relationship, right? They're
Yep.
going to care about the influence. And at the end of the day, when we die, it all goes away except for that influence.
Mm.
And
Mm.
that's what we need to be intentional about. So that would be my goal, my destination, and that I hope is everybody's, because there is nobody here that's here by accident that doesn't have their own people that they have to impact that no one else can impact.
Yep.
So let's go do it. Right.
Dude, nailed it. Like every single one of us, no matter what, the only thing that's going to be left behind is the influence that we've had on others. Freak. Brilliant, bro. Brilliant. Did you have fun?
No, dude, always have fun with you. I'm so excited when we get to live. I get to give you a big old bear hug again. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Now wear the Hawaiian shirts though. I want to see Hawaiian shirts the whole time.
Count on it, brother. Count on it. That is my
And
favorite attire.
all right, well, I'm gonna tell the team that we expect Hawaiian shirts throughout that whole room.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make sure it's gonna be a colorful bunch. It's gonna be awesome. They're gonna be ready to go.
10-4.
Thank you for sticking it out all the way to the end. I know you got a whole lot of stuff going on. And in appreciation for the gift of time that you have given this episode, I want to offer you a free PDF of my book, Becoming the Promise You're Intended to Be. The link for that bad boy is down in the show notes. Hit it. You don't even have to give me your email address. There's a link in there. You just click that button and you can download the PDF. And if you share it with somebody that you know who might feel stuck or be caught up in self-destructive behaviors, that would be the ultimate. You sharing that increases the likelihood that it's going to help one more person. And if it does help one more person, then you're contributing to me becoming the promise I am intended to be. Be kind to yourself, be cool, and we'll talk at you next time.